Welcome to the world of Rouge. I am Oliwia Rouge and Shredy is here with me. Can you still say it, Shredy? Like Happy New Year?
Are you happy? I'm happy.
I am happy. Yeah. Yes, but for me it's plenty of changes, to be honest. The new year brought a lot of fresh air. In a good way, but also in a way where it's a lot to take care of. Yeah.
And in your case, also your new year came with really a lot of changes. I mean, the last year, for instance, 25 was a year of you built a lot, you made a lot. Your Instagram, your OnlyFans, your YouTube channel, this podcast, you really shined. And now 26 is going just to be even more of it.
Yeah, that's true. I thought about how the year is ending and the new is starting, and I did also my reflection and things like this. And we already did so much, but still it feels like even though we produced, this year is even more energy coming to it. And it is a new things are being born. Within me, for sure, I feel like everything that we planted in the last year, it's now also growing stronger inside of me. And I feel very ready for all the new beautiful projects, but also responsibilities to be aware of how I create things.
Yeah, and also kind of 25, you really started, I mean, you've been working for so many years before that, dancing and Pilates, and you've been working on your posture and you've been working music and singing with Maria. And so you've been preparing for years. And in 25, you really took all those abilities and all those capacities and together we built something amazing with it. And I'm looking forward to see how 26 is going to develop. It is really impressive, all this work.
Yeah, me too. But with sports, the funny thing is, or with everything, that it's a never-ending process, right? But the mindset of mine had a huge shift. I'm way more aware of how to focus my energy and what is a distraction, and how to plan goals and then go into action. So that's also why we are here again in this first episode on 26, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope it's going to be an amazing year. It looks like this. And we also I also would like to invite the audience to keep following us closely also on our social media, on your social media, because there's a nice inspiration that is coming out of it. Also on your Patreon, OnlyFans, my accounts as well, because this interaction is it's showing by example, your journey. We're not just talking about it. You're showing by example what you're going through, even in your private life. But now you move to a new space and things change holistically and fundamentally. People cannot know the details because they watch only the podcast, but in your personal lives what you went through and how everything changed. This is really a miracle what happened.
Yeah, I also feel it this way. And to have this new flat, this responsibility that comes with it, but also the freedom that it has. And I am very thankful that now I have the space for creation. And the space that I really wanted. This is exactly the place that I wanted. And it's here. Yeah. It was long due. I was really missing to do the podcast. I think it was now time. My energy is let's go, let's do this again. To be here with you and sharing our thoughts. And also to talk about the different questions. Because always, every time we do it, it's a lot of insights for me too. And the reflection. So amazing that we started this again. It feels like second season, Yeah.
Yeah. Last time it was 12 episodes and now the 13 or the first one, let's say, this year. And even you have new questions.
Yes. And also the last one was not with you, but with Maria, which was very beautiful. Okay.
Okay, go for it. Let's see
Yes.
what's the new...
me in digital life. Okay, the question is, how can one know if he is on the right journey as he was told by a trusted person, especially when everything goes wrong and not as he was told? So I read this question like I read it in two different versions. And for me, one version was like that someone trusted told the person that he's on the right journey, and then something went wrong, everything went wrong, and then what to do because you trusted a certain person. And the other interpretation that I had was like you was told by someone that you're on the right track, but the trusted person tells you that everything is like wrong, that you're not gonna make it, something like this.
How did you find the second option? How did you conclude that from his question?
I don't know, because how can one know if he's on the right journey as he was told by a trusted person when everything goes wrong, and not as he was told? I don't know why. It just... I'm not an English native speaker, maybe that's why, Now when I read it again, for me, this first conclusion makes more sense. That you were told by a trusted person that everything will go right, but then everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit of interpretation help from you here.
Yeah, this is one of our intensive viewers that asked this question, and it's interesting. Anyway, so how do you think? What do you think about it?
I ask myself, if the person that is going this certain journey is like having more trust in the trusted person than in himself. I think about giving trust to others, overgive maybe trust, or how is this dynamic? Is it balance? I trust myself fully, but I also have someone who I also trust a lot and who is very close to me and who also knows about my journey. This was the first important thought that I have on this. And also, if everything goes wrong, what does it mean everything goes wrong? The plans that the person had, that they wanted to achieve, and then they just don't come to fruition? Or does it mean that the surrounding get irritated, and they start causing problems? Because there's a difference, right? If everything on the outside starts to be irritated and be negative towards you, it doesn't need to mean that you are on the wrong path, right? That this is the experience that I did. Or I have, that the irritation that I faced from others was not the case that I was on the wrong path, but the opposite actually. They just didn't like what I'm doing because they got triggered. Yeah. I think the question here is really intelligent. And how can someone know? Really, how can you know if you let's say someone goes to a therapist or to a psychologist. He's supposed to trust this person. He's a trusted person. The psychologist is a trusted person because the academy says that he knows what he's doing. The government supports the academy, which says that he knows what he's doing. Someone can go to a therapist or to a psychologist 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, and never get the problem solved. So if someone is just going to find a friend to talk about things, maybe this is his goal. Mm-hmm. But if there is something that needs to be solved, and after 10 years is not solved, then what's going on? And I know it if you're going in a certain direction, either the direction is right or wrong to your goal. Now, if you are going into the wrong direction,
It doesn't make a difference how much you are consistent and how much you are like disciplined and how much you give everything, and you will not get to the goal. You will not get to the destination because you are in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. But first of all, you need to know what your goal is, right? And that already starts the journey. Like, what is my goal? Some people maybe think they know their goals, but actually it's like combined with, is it a goal of achieving success for my personal life, or is the goal only group dynamics to have, or like to be accepted by others, or just to enjoy yourself? This is also already mixed up a lot, don't you think?
Yeah, but I think that someone is going, for example, to make therapy. He already is like, if I'm going to fix my car, so I know that there's a problem with the car and I need to fix it. So I'm going to the garage, to the mechanics, and he's supposed to tell me what the problem is, and the goal is to fix it. Now, this is a trusted person. He's supposed to help me fix it.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what the problem is. It's not my profession to know what went wrong. I just know that the machine doesn't function. He's a trusted person that is certified, that is supposed to solve the problem. If I'm going to go to the mechanic 10 years and still the problem is not solved,
then you have a bad mechanic who doesn't know how things work.
Then there's something much worse than just having a bad mechanic. There's a whole wrong belief system behind it. My trust in this. Why do you trust this person in the first place? I need to ask myself. So kind of, the goal is clear. Fix the car. And in this case, if the car is not fixed within a certain period of time, then my goal is to fix it. I don't know. He needs to know, the mechanic, the professional, he needs to know what went wrong, which part needs to be changed, where he can get this part, how he can activate it. This is the professional part. So kind of, he can now talk to me 1 hour about the history of the car and the traumas of the car, and let's move around the car and talk how do I feel about the car, and he can talk to me a lot about my feelings about the dysfunctional car.
Yeah.
But here, if I don't solve the problem, then this is something fundamentally wrong in how I perceive reality. But because some fields or some people are trusted because of academic certificates, academic degrees, or governmental certification, or even social validation. Someone has charisma and everybody says, oh, she knows, oh, he knows. I mean, they have a whole social validation around them, and people buy into this social validation as if it's, he's and you will keep on going. If this person, the charisma person, doesn't know what he's doing, and all his validation he's getting from also people that don't know what they're doing, you will not get nowhere.
Yeah, man.
It's like kind of, and this is what I find this question that is intelligent, a blind person needs to find a direction. A blind person doesn't know who's blind and who sees, because he doesn't see. So he's trusting that somebody can see. If somebody doesn't see, but he's so charismatic and he says, I know, and he gets social validation from so many blind people just like him that tell him he knows, then you will not get to the goal.
Yeah. The very strong thought that I have on this when you're telling these things, because I now understand this better, is that are we going freely to fix a problem, and are we ready to hear also like sometimes critic, that might feel not comfortable to the ego, that it's not only always pleasing, but are we always going there to feel good about ourselves, Because with this example of the psychologist, the main goal is also that you don't feel like attacked or like bad with it. For sure, maybe they provoke a little bit, but there are some things they don't do. And people would also not be okay with it. Like, you cannot say this to me. He cannot like say this because doesn't feel well with I don't feel well with myself, you know? But sometimes this kind of critique, like if you tell them, maybe you won't like to hear it. Maybe this will like make you feel uncomfortable or attacked, but try to see it like without this feeling of being attacked. Maybe this is something you can work through and then acknowledge, okay, this might be a problem. Maybe I should really work on this. So why are we trusting someone? Like, because this person, we really have the feeling they see and they can help us because they have like a more overview about some things and more knowledge about things, or because we feel like pleased in our ego.
Yeah. If you can afford to keep the problem running, you can find so many justifications why you should not solve the problem.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. But if I cannot afford not solving the problem and I have to solve the problem, then it's a higher priority than my ego. Then I need to look at reality and not to buy into illusions.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? If you live in a society that you can allow yourself to make like mistakes all over the time because you don't face consequences of it and you're always gonna be saved, then for sure you're gonna, like, not for sure because not everyone does it, but most people go into this, at least I feel good with myself, happens, stuff happens, it happens. I mean, it's not so bad. Why should I make something big out of it? But the moment things are really getting real and the consequences, you can feel it, then okay, the gate opens. Okay, I really need to have someone I can really trust the expertise, right? Then the people that maybe got like criticized, that they are too harsh, too direct, to this, to that, then they are becoming the most valued and important because these are the people who are gonna like save you.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we need to see the intention of the person. Do you really want to solve the problem? Or you have a different intention? Some people benefit from the problems. Some people are like being, on the contrary, they want to distract because solving the problem, it means ending, like kind of think about if you are healthy. How are you going to buy medicine? It's not good for the industry. Think about if you are really have no psychological problems. You have a whole industry of therapists and academies that have no function in the society. So many villas that are not going to be financed. So many cars that they're not going to have. So this field must be sustained. It's a matter of economy. Like, it's not only a matter of so all the marketing / propaganda / advertisement. At the end of the day, it has to channel that you need to buy that substance. Are you against science? Shame on you. If you are against science, you don't. It's a matter of industry. And marketing has it's a science on its own.
Oh, yes.
How you can trick people into buying.
This is psychology at its finest, right? Yeah. Then you have all the money and all the capacity to try to read people, to manipulate them the best way, right? There's plenty of money for this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the same thing for everything. I mean, if they want to keep you hooked, they will not solve the problem. Because when the problem is solved, you're gone, you disappear, it's over. You will not need the therapist anymore. Your problem is solved. So the therapist must keep you around. It must keep you in this cycle, this endless circle of, it is, I don't know, it can be that I'm not now generalizing because it can be that some people have enough empathy and enough good intention and they really want to make a good change and really want to help people. So they might not fall into this category. But if you have a whole industry, when I hear a story about someone who's been years in therapy,
years and years and years.
I need to ask a question. the same thing when you go to any professional in the world, a mechanic, someone who builds apartments and then buildings, someone who's selling any product, and you pay them, but you never get the problem solved. You never get the product. You never get the house built. You never get the car fixed. But you keep on going there for years, talking about the problem, not solving it.
You know what? I am also thinking, because the one thing, okay, you have a trusted person, and who is this trusted person? Like, can you really rely on the expertise of this trusting person? But vice versa, if you think from the perspective of this trusted person, like because I also heard stories about people going to stay with this topic of therapy, right? They go to the therapist, and the therapist help them to reflect on certain things, but the therapist cannot do these things for oneself. So the people have to act upon it, right? And then I talked to people, and they really told, I know what my problem is, but I refuse to do it because this doesn't feel good for me, you know? Which I don't understand.
So they have no intention to solve the problem.
Okay, so what can the trusted person, if it's not a therapist, but like someone who you pay, or a good friend who has a big expertise, so how can the trusted person where to put a grenze, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if the intention of the person is not to solve the problem, then it is irrelevant to talk about it. Because he from the beginning doesn't want to solve the problem. And I'm using the idea of therapist just as an example. It is just an example, a radical example of a very trustworthy character, scientific character in our society, where people look up to, and they already go with the idea that this is a trustworthy source. That's it. But this is a radical example. But think about not somebody who's certified by the government or by the academy. Just a person in any community who's a little bit loud, a little bit self-confident. Some have some privileges from behind the scenes. Some money from somewhere comes, from connections with something. So he has a lot of charisma and confidence. And you have a community around them that are giving him social validation because they are part of this. They want to be part of this gatekeeper's environment. So they give him or her social validation. Mm-hmm. And this person comes who has a problem to solve, who's aware of that there is some dysfunctionality in his life. Mm-hmm. So he thinks, how this person has so much validation. They must know what they're doing. He's not aware of all this social validation, of all what's happening behind the scenes.
So they give trust.
So he trusts this person just like this. And of course, this person might be good in a certain field, but there's a place, if this person is not leading and not solving the dysfunctionality within a period of time, then this is something to ask yourself, like, how many years I'm still here and nothing is going on, because there are repetitions. And you need to reach that level where you connect the dots and you see that there is repetitions, and after that, nothing will go out of that repetition. There's also a lot of methods to keep you on hold, to keep you hoping. I was almost giving you this thing. We almost solved this problem. If you would have known this, we almost did this and that. But they would never do it because they don't have the capacity to do it. Not only this, perhaps they don't have the intention to do it. Because if they really do it, you might outshine them.
This is something so crazy for me. How can you give someone your trust? And for example, in this artistic world, right, there are some positions you have or some kind of hierarchies, and everyone has their own role. So how can someone who is like coming as a performer, it's your job to shine. So how can someone who is in another position of a director, choreographer, whatsoever, like probably get jealous and not reach certain things just for you not to outshine them? I don't get this at all. It just doesn't make any sense. But what you said with this time limitation makes a lot of sense to me too. Because for sure, some people can read other people a little bit faster, but also you want to meet others, right? You want to connect, you want to achieve things, you want to give trust to people, and it's fine to give trust to them, right? But then with time, you really have to stay aware and not to fall into some social validation programming, but to see, are we really achieving those goals? For example, my goal was to produce a couple of projects, and I was giving trust in this person, and after 2, 3, 4 years, we didn't move. Like there was nothing that happened. I didn't get any money. I didn't grow any community myself. I didn't reach the goal. So the trust that I gave maybe was like misplaced here. And that now it's time to go out of this dynamic because it clearly doesn't help me for reaching my goals. So it's not to give yourself fully to a trusted person only because they might have a bigger expertise. It's like a balance between trusting someone's expertise, but also growing your own skills to see.
Yeah. Some people can have expertise in a specific field. It doesn't mean that they have expertise in everything. You know, some people can act self-confident because they are good in one field, but their opinion and their observation is not relevant in many other fields. So like, not to be fooled by their self-confidence. And also, the moment someone detects dysfunctionality or someone has a goal, so here you need a direction, and you need action, a direction. There is a map, there is a compass, there is, other technologies. And when you are in the right direction, then we talk about consistency. Because being in the opposite direction, the wrong direction, consistency is irrelevant. On the contrary. So, and it's not one of the most difficult things that the person is asking here is how can you know if you are in the right direction? First of all, you need to know to see the trusted person. Are you following a blind person or are you following someone who sees? Because I understand that you are aware of your needs and you say, okay, I'm having something. And the second thing also that is important is that the transformation is holistic. We already talked about it a long time ago.
Yes.
It means that you cannot fundamentally change and achieve your goals by 1 hour a week talking to someone.
Oh man, so true.
Going and talking to someone 1 hour a week, whether it's whatever, is not relevant. Even 2 hours a week. You know it also personally, because if you don't combine the change of everything in your life, there will be no genuine transformation. And it has to be emotionally, it has to be with actions, with changes. The environment will change. The professional environment will change. The way you live will change. The social environment will change. So there's a holistic change that happens. And 1 hour a week to talk, it is not relevant, because this interaction, we need to have access. Like maybe it's difficult to say it, but some people, they need micromanagement almost in every level of their lives until they get out of the mess, and then they start to detect, to connect the dots and to say, okay, this is right and wrong. Until then, just having a general idea, general direction, it can be impossible for them to change and to achieve what they want.
It makes sense, right? Because you are born and then you have been programmed years by years by years. Like your whole life, you've been programmed in a certain way. And then you realize, oh man, I don't like how I live. And I also see how I think and how I act also doesn't please me and doesn't bring me to my goals. For sure, like you need in the beginning kind of a micromanagement to take out, all the roots of the programming and to put it into fresh soil.
Yeah.
To overwrite all of these years of experience that wasn't leading you where you want to be.
Yeah, and it's not only the programming, it's also we need to act upon it. There's a lot of action, there's a lot of achievement, it's not just talking, we're not just talking. If the action is not in line with the talking and the talking is not in line with the action, there's no holistic change. It's just talking, it's just one aspect of the change. You know how many hours in the beginning we were sitting and talking and sitting, how many days a week, how much time and effort we put until we got out of the old paradigm and we shifted into the new, with everything changed. That everything changed.
Yeah, so that's also why what you're saying, it resonates with me so much, because in the beginning you also said, and all the dancing and singing and the years that I invested, like it is a great investment and I learned a lot of skills, but also in many situations my mindset wasn't right and I couldn't act properly towards what I want to achieve, and this caused also problems for me. Not only when it comes to dynamics with others, but sometimes also on the physic level. And this wouldn't have happened if I would had the goals and my focus already like in the right direction. Yeah. So that's why this makes so much sense to me. And why this year is already starting so much better, because now everything is in line. My mental and also acting upon it. And this trusted person, what you want to achieve are depending on which field you are, right? So before like choosing a trusted person, I'm like thinking, if you, for example, want to do a project and a work like artistic wise, one thing is like the CV of a person, right? But it's only one level of it. And the other one is like, before you decide to give the trust, what can I see? Which kind of projects is this person doing? Or like more of observation before I give myself to someone, right?
Yeah. It is also, there's a lot of people, especially here in Berlin, they're very famous socially. There are a lot of social validation, though they have nothing visible to see what they did. And some people came to recommend me, and I'm saying, okay, show me the website. What did they work in? Show me no, they don't write it on the website. Why? I need to see their faces. I need to see how they talk. I need to see how they act. You tell me they teach acting. I want to see them acting. I want to see why they're hiding. What do they have to hide? I'm putting myself talking and all over the internet. They don't show anything. They keep it to their imagination. And yet, there's a lot of people that go there on the illusion. So first of all, I need to see an achievement. Only after I see the achievement, I can evaluate it. I can see if it's serious or it's a joke. But without an achievement at all, this is not intelligent even to talk about it. How you can start with that. So already when I see an achievement, I can evaluate the achievement and I can evaluate the person, the professional. And I put him in the exact category where he or she is. I don't give him more than what he or she is. And I don't try to downplay what he or she is. But when I see certain performance and I estimate and evaluate the performance. My observation for me is crucial. Even if someone comes and tells me, no, they are much more than that. I see. You cannot. But in my case, I come from a professional background that allows me to evaluate. Those who do not have this professional background, just like a person goes to fix his car and he doesn't know anything about anything.
Anything about anything. That's
when it comes
funny.
to cars. So there's a place where you need to trust the person, but also immediately to detect if the person is not doing what he should do. You can have a little bit of emotional intelligence in order to see the double signals, and especially when the achievement is not happening, the wanted result is not happening.
Go out.
There's no second chance. It's over. But here in this place, there's so much brainwash.
Yeah,
that people would give a person a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance. And why is he what does he look like? Very beautiful? Like, what is it? And someone will not get any chance, or they will be looked at. Despite all the achievements, they will still downplay it and pretend like, no, it cannot be. Why is he not so beautiful? Why? But this society can afford that because they don't really need to solve problems. The government pays.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, what you said now right before, what to do, like how to detect if someone is just trustworthy or not, I would want to put a big exclamation mark on this. Really. Because unfortunately, they are people that are giving naively their trust and, because they don't know anything about anything. They have like a dream or they need a problem to be solved. And then they go with their goodwill, and a little bit or this naivety, and they just give it to people. So this kind of information that you now gave, I think it's so important. It's such an important instruction. How can I, in the beginning, navigate before I trust a person? Very, very, very important step.
Yeah. If you don't have the ability to see what is going on and to detect, you need to see the achievements. You need to see first of all, the achievements. Before I judge, before I have an intuition to see if the person is good or bad or charismatic or not charismatic, show me the achievement first of all.
Yeah, ask yourself questions, right?
I see the achievements, then I evaluate. I see everyone has a reputation. Everybody should have worked with others. Some people, you can see their achievements online. Some people don't have it. So you need to, some people have a lot. Some people have one that they made and they recycle it after that 4 or 5 years, the same thing. You need to follow up and to see the details, not because you look at person's numbers on Instagram, the number of followers. It doesn't mean anything. Some people can buy numbers. Mm-hmm. There are bots who can comment and they can click like. It doesn't mean that the person is really what he or she claimed to be. You need to dig deep and to ask questions and to see what is going on. And before even relying on your emotional intelligence to make a judgment. I put my emotional intelligence aside. First of all, I want to see the achievements.
For sure. This is something I am now learning, even with a new place. It comes to every aspect sometimes in your life. To acknowledge, okay, in this field, maybe I don't have an expertise. First of all, I do the recherche.
Research.
Why isn't the same word? In my head, it's the same word. I do the research. Researcher. Yeah, it's similar. And then you dig deep without this emotions coming in. And then as the next step, you can see and maybe take your emotional intelligence to it. And this helps you not to fall into certain traps and then to wake up and be like, what happened? Like, this is not what I wanted. This is not the outcome that I wished for myself. Yeah. Acknowledgement, what I know, what I don't know, doing the research. And when you found this trusted person, and even it was a bad trusted person, you have this period of time that you can like check, is happening something? Oh yeah. Is there happening something? Are we going somewhere? Are we reaching the goals that I wanted to reach? No. Okay. Ciao. Maybe it's over. Maybe you only had this one chance. But maybe you are lucky and then you can just go like on another research.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is. So this is how I see this question now.
Yeah. For summary, because we finished the time.
Yeah.
For summary, I would say it is good that you acknowledge that you need a trusted person, because some people think that they already know it and they don't know that they don't know. So they try and I told you a lot of examples, showed you people how they really failed miserably because they couldn't acknowledge that they don't have what it takes in order to do what they wanted to do. But because I did it, somehow they look down and say, oh, if he can do it, if the guy from the Middle East can do it, me from New York, I can do it without even studying. You know what I mean? So they tried and then they failed miserably with a lot of money. So the fact that you already know that you need a trusted person or you need a professional to help you with that is already a good start. Now, second, who is that trusted person? If you chose the wrong trusted person, then it will never lead to your wanted results. In order to know that this person is trusted or not trusted, you need to see the results and the achievements. First of all, to connect the dots, to see that the person is living his life not just by talking about it, but by acting and achieving. He's applying his knowledge with action. If it's not, it is not a trusted person. This is a charismatic scammer, even when he has or she has social validation. They might be good in a certain field, but it doesn't mean that they can make the holistic change. When you find the person, the trusted person, you cannot expect to have it once a week. And based on 1 hour a week talking like a therapist, you will make the holistic change. Because the holistic change need in the beginning a lot of actions that are outside your conception. Something that you don't know that it's possible to act like that. So that's why it might reach levels of micromanagements where things needs to change on the small details.
Yeah, so no leaning back and waiting for things to happen.
Yeah. And then in that mindset, it will not be easy in the beginning because the transformation will be outside the box, outside everything that you've been used to do before. Only then we can talk about consistency. Only then you need to start to be consistent. You know how to plant the seeds and you put them on the ground and how to water them. They will be fruit. But if you don't know how to plant the seeds and how to work it doesn't make a difference how much you make.
You spread it all over the place and you don't know where to put the water and nothing will grow, right? You will only get tired and frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And also this consistency will also build your new identity, right?
Yeah. New habit. Will make the holistic transformation because it's gradual. You know, a child when he grows, it's not the ear grows first and then the mouth follows and then the nose follows. It's holistic. Gradual and holistic. Everything grows at the same time. The same thing here. You grow also emotionally, spiritually, but also environmentally. You change environmentally, financially, health, socially, everything, professionally, everything at the same time.
This sums up perfectly the feeling of my start into 26. Very, very nice. I'm so happy.
Me too.
Thank you for this beautiful question. If you have more questions, then feel free to comment on the video. We are very happy to answer it. Thank you for your insights.
My pleasure.
It was so much fun to talk about it. Yes, I feel very energized. Yeah. And yes, wish you a lot of fun with watching the episode. We are so happy to be back and see you next week.